Vault Hunters stood on the cobblestone main street of Shadow Grove, the early morning mist curling low around their boots as the town quietly stirred to life. Around them, magical mechs stamped through the fog, their engines humming with latent arcane energy, their metal plating gleaming with the crimson sigils of Atlas and the Crimson Lance. Despite the watchful machines and looming tasks ahead, the trio knew their journey was only just beginning. Suida's turned to Mr. Phantom, her voice cutting through the silence. Your staff can make portals to known places. Did you see the names of the locations we need to check? Mr. Phantom didn't respond immediately, fingers tapping lightly on the smooth engraved wood of Godric's staff, as if trying to recall some lingering magic. His gaze drifted, lost in thought. Cliff stepped forward, his revolver slung lazily across his back, his coat flapping with the morning breeze. I remember the map. All those glowing places, he said with a grin. Let's start with Owl Ridge. Mr. Phantom nodded and raised the staff, the orange crystal pulsing in sync with his thoughts. A shimmering circle carved itself into the air before them, glowing runes spiraling across its surface. With a flash of golden light, the portal burst open. Without hesitation, they stepped through. Their feet landed on crunchy autumn leaves just outside the wooden gates of a small encampment. The air here was colder, the kind of crispness that signaled the end of harvest and the beginning of something darker. A wooden plaque hung above the gate, carved by hand with rough strokes, Owl Ridge. Inside the settlement, 4 canvas tents formed a loose ring around a massive campfire, its flames still roaring as if stoked by unseen hands. Embers twisted skyward, fading into the dark blue night. The flickering fire cast long shadows across wagons of different sizes, all parked with care, though noticeably no horses or beasts of burden were to be seen. The scent of damp pine lingered in the air, and the forest beyond the ridge swayed gently with the wind, thick with secrets. This place was quiet, too quiet. The flames danced, the tents stood still, but no voices greeted them. No footsteps, no laughter, just the rustling of leaves and the haunting caw of a distant bird echoing from the ridge. Suidas stepped forward slowly, scanning the area with narrowed eyes. Something feels off. Cliff cracked his knuckles and unholstered his revolver, the same grin tugging at his lips. Let's hope there's loot behind one of these tents. Mr. Phantom adjusted his mask, the orange glow of the staff flickering in his grip. Or a corpse with answers. Whatever Owl Ridge held, it was no ordinary campsite. The Vault Hunters knew better than to trust a quiet fire and an empty welcome. Their next clue or confrontation waited just ahead. The Vault Hunters barely had time to adjust to the crisp mountain air of Owl Ridge before something dropped into view with startling precision. Red skin, curled horns, and long white hair caught in the wind like silk thread. Her boots hit the ground softly, though her presence was anything but. A brown cloak billowed behind her, occasionally parting just enough to reveal a sharply swaying red tail that was hard not to notice. She already had her crossbow leveled at the group, the weapon crafted with finesse and runes that shimmered faintly against the moonlight. Her eyes narrowed as she assessed them. Don't think so, she said coolly. What they do? Send another crew for the rest of the stuff? Suidas raised an eyebrow, stepping forward carefully but without fear. Who are you talking about? The horned woman didn't lower her weapon. Her voice remained clipped and suspicious. Luna, so you're going to tell me that Hyperius didn't send a pack of scabs armed to the teeth to Owl Ridge again to finish the job? She looked between them with slow judgment. You all just pop up out of nowhere, and this place was supposed to be secluded, hidden, until today. Before your people raided our supplies and took that damn relic you wanted so badly. But taking it wasn't enough, right? Cliff didn't waste time. He calmly moved a hand away from his revolver to show he meant no harm. We're not Hyperius, he said. We're working with Lord Sadler, trying to get the Shadow Council back together. You're Luna, right? The name seemed to disarm her more than any weapon could. Luna blinked, startled by the mention. A wry smile curled her lips as she finally relaxed her stance. Well, damn, you must be the Vault Hunters I heard about. She slung her crossbow across her back in one smooth motion. The tension in the air dissipated like frost under sun. Her voice lost its edge, replaced with something more knowing. You've got no idea how close you were to getting a bolt in the eye. But I guess Sadler's still making moves after all. She crossed her arms and tilted her head, inspecting them again, this time as allies rather than threats. I've been here keeping eyes on this ridge ever since they hit it. Hyperius took most of our supply run and something far worse, something we were transporting for Sadler before the ambush. Luna looked over her shoulder toward the largest tent, her expression darkening. It was a relic. I don't know what it did, but I do know Hyperius wanted it badly. They left Owl Ridge scorched just to get their hands on it. I'm all that's left. A chill wind passed through the trees. She turned back to the group. If you're really here to help, then we need to move fast. Because they're not done, and I'm betting they'll be back tonight. The wind picked up again, this time with a whisper on it. Somewhere deeper in the woods, a low mechanical hum began to rise. Hyperius wasn't far. It happened in an instant. A violent crack split the air, gunfire. Before any of them could react, a burst of blood erupted from Luna's left shoulder. The tiefling gasped, stumbling back as the force of the impact knocked her from her feet, her crossbow slipping from her grasp as she crashed hard into the dirt. Suidas moved toward her on instinct, but the echo of the gunshot still hung in the air, and now the source stepped forward. From behind them, emerging from the darkness of the trees, came a large figure, a man built like a fortress. A massive machine gun rested casually over his right shoulder as though it weighed nothing. In his left hand, thick leather leashes strained under the force of 5 snarling hounds, each of them lean, rabid and frothing, bred for war. Their eyes reflected the firelight with feral hunger. Around him, silhouettes shifted among the trees. Hyperius snipers, their rifles raised and trained on the vault hunters, helmets glowing faint yellow in the dusk. One wrong twitch and another shot would be fired. The large man took a step forward and spoke, his tone dripping with contempt. That red bitch deserved to die. His eyes settled on the vault hunters. Are you working with them too? Suidas turned on him with fury, fists clenching. Why the hell did you do that? He shrugged, utterly unfazed. Whoa, whoa. And who exactly gave you the right to ask questions about us? If you don't already know how we operate, you can't judge us as the bad guys, can you? The arrogance was suffocating. His hounds tensed, jaws snapping as they strained forward, desperate to tear into flesh. The man tightened his grip on the leashes, barely holding them back. One of the snipers took off his helmet and stepped closer, looking hesitant. So, are we going to kill them, or? The commander didn't even try to hide his irritation as he rolled his eyes. Shut the hell up, Simmons. The sniper paused mid-sentence and faltered, embarrassed. I just had to pee first. He slid his helmet back on hurriedly and raised his rifle. The large man, the commander, shrugged once as though the decision were trivial. You know what? Yeah, kill these bastards. He let go of the leashes. The hounds launched forward with a chorus of snarls, dirt flying as claws ripped through the ground in a frenzied charge. The snipers opened fire simultaneously, bullets whistling through the air. Luna writhed on the ground, clutching her bleeding shoulder. The vault hunters had less than a second to react. The fight had begun. The hounds tore across the camp like a crimson wave, snarling, snapping, and bounding with unrestrained hunger. Their eyes glowed like coals in the dim light of Owl Ridge's flickering campfire, paws digging deep into the cold autumn earth as they closed the distance fast. Mr. Phantom unleashed Death Trap, his mechanized ally, slamming into the first pair of hounds with a metallic roar. Claws screeched as they tore through sinew and muscle, sparks flying where teeth met steel. Phantom took cover behind a broken wagon, his Dahl assault rifle barking bursts of lead into the chaos. One hound fell limp from a precise volley to the head, another lunged, only to be intercepted by Death Trap's crushing fist. Cliff took aim with his Jacob's revolver, his stance solid and unshaken. The first shot cracked the air like thunder, blasting through a hound's skull and dropping it mid-leap. Another fired shot buried itself in a beast's flank, slowing it just enough for the third to finish it off. He pivoted, breathing heavily, barrels smoking. Suidas vanished in a shimmer of violet energy, her phase walk igniting the moment the last hound lunged for her throat. She reappeared behind it, a palm crackling with arcane force, With a thrust, she sent a shockwave through the creature, launching it into the campfire where it yelped and burned. The camp went silent until rifle fire erupted from the treetops. Hyperius snipers had taken positions along the edge of the camp, and muzzle flashes flickered in the darkness. Cliff dove for cover behind a collapsed tent as shots tore through the canvas, barely missing him. Mr. Phantom, already on the move, adjusted the scope of his rifle and returned fire. His first shot struck one sniper clean in the neck, the soldier crumpling to the side of a tree. Suida zigzagged through the gunfire, her movement a blur of siren speed. She scaled a supply wagon, launched herself up toward a tree branch, and hurled an energy blade that impaled another sniper through the chest. The body tumbled to the forest floor below. Cliff, fed up with ducking bullets, fired 2 quick rounds at the last visible sniper. One missed, the other cracked through the soldier's helmet. A faint curse escaped the body as it slumped over the branch. The clearing quieted once more. That was until they turned their sights to the Hyperius commander. Rudy Jaeger stood at the center of it all, unfazed, massive machine gun still humming from recent use. Mr. Phantom led the assault, pulling the trigger on his rifle and striking the commander in the shoulder, but the man barely flinched. Cliff circled to the side and landed another shot in his thigh. Suidas hit him square in the chest with a burst of elemental force, knocking him to one knee. Jaeger groaned, then laughed. Blood ran from his wounds, but there was no fear, only bitter amusement. Life is a series of decisions that you face every day, he muttered. You all seem to have sided with something you highly believe in, but you will soon learn your choices have consequences. He snapped his fingers. 2 shadows descended from above, landing on either side of the commander. Helatrix and Artemis. Their white hair whipped in the cold mountain wind, eyes aglow with mischief and menace. Helatrix smirked. My sister and I really like toying with you, Fate Makers, she said. It's so adorable that you all think you have what it takes to even match our power. How cute. The sisters fist bumped, laughing as the ground trembled. A guttural mechanical roar sounded from the darkness behind them. The Vault Hunters turned as a massive yellow Magitech dreadnought emerged from the trees, its glowing white Hyperius stripe illuminated by the flickering campfire. Its left arm was a crushing claw the size of a wagon, its right arm a flamethrower already rumbling with heat. The earth cracked under its weight. Rudy Jaeger gave one final glance back. Finish these fools, he barked to the twins. Then he vanished into the trees, leaving behind the behemoth. The fight wasn't over. It had just begun.